If you are thinking about buying a condo in South Florida, there is a risk. If you're considering buying a condo in anywhere in Florida, this is a video for you. My name is Ray Fernandez. I'm with Living in Palm Beach, Florida, powered by eXp Realty. Welcome. This video is going to be a little bit unique, a little bit different than what we normally bring across to you guys. We like to talk about the areas in and around Palm Beach. If you're thinking about moving to this area, this channel is a great resource, and we recommend that you subscribe. But in this video, there's been some significant attention brought to condos recently. Really, this is something that should have actually happened 2 years ago. 2 years ago, we came out with a video called "Don't Buy Palm Beach Condos," and it's only really recently, since some changes have come through, that it's really gotten a lot of attention here on YouTube. 2 years ago, I spoke about what had happened, the collapse of the Champlain Towers in Surfside in North Miami Beach. And I had talked about how there is significant risk. I'm shocked that people didn't realize it as much as they know today, as much as they realize today. And one of the reasons why people are realizing it now is because some of the stuff that we sort of talked about in that video is actually come home and actually taken place in terms of fees and everything else that was wrong with the way things were set up in terms of condos. 18 years ago, my family and I relocated to this beautiful part of the world we call sunny South Florida, and we haven't looked back. Today, we truly find honor to help people, perhaps like you, do the exact same thing. So if you're thinking about moving to anywhere in Florida and you want to ask questions from people who've actually moved and done this before, well, there's a few ways to get a hold of us. Down below is our email address. That's one great way. Also on the screen, you see our phone number. You can either call or text that number. But literally, two of the best ways is in the description and the comments section. There's a link. Click on that link. What that'll do is that'll set up some time for us to speak, either through a phone call or a Zoom, whatever way you feel most comfortable. In any case, we have your back when it comes to relocating here to sunny South Florida. So if you're thinking about moving to anywhere in Florida, this is a channel for you. So a real brief history. Years ago there were condos here. I'm gonna focus a bit on South Florida here. Condos really are all over the place, East Coast and West Coast of Florida, but the formula is all the same. But if I show you a map, you will see along that barrier island, it is loaded with condos. Let me show you what I mean by that. So as you can see, here is a map of Palm Beach, really. This is West Palm Beach is the biggest city here in Palm Beach. But if you go here, I'm going to take Lake Worth Road here. This is one of the main roads that go to the barrier reef. If I showed you up here, there are not as many condos because that's like Palm Beach Island where they have $50 million mansions. It's not what this video is about. If you follow our channel, we've talked about some of those places before. But if you look here, if I say zoom in, from like Benny's on the Beach, which is a famous restaurant here in Lake Worth, Florida, and you can just look; they're all lined up. Carlton Place Condo, Dorchester, 3360 Condo Association. I mean, all up and down. This place is filled with condos. And going back to those days, they were relatively inexpensive. These things were built like in the 70s and the 80s and even the 90s when people were moving here to Palm Beach and all across that barrier reef here in Florida. Now, the prices were really low and back then, and even to recent years in general, you can buy a condo for less money than you can for a single family home. It's only in recent years, after the collapse of the Champlain Towers in Miami, that it's gotten this significant attention. And it's primarily because the regulation and how these things were governed were neglected for so long. And here we're seeing significant changes when it comes to condos and buying a condo here in Florida. We see families who are being hit with significant charges. There are Condo Association fees, which is a monthly fee they charge to run the condo, which is required and mandatory for people who buy, jump up as much as 200%. We see these same people in other condos and or that particular condo getting hit with special assessments. Special assessments are when the charges that they're charging are from the association are not enough to cover, and they've got so much of a huge new expense that they have to charge you for it. Reach out to our team if you want us to know more about that. There are special assessments in anything when it comes to like buying into an association. As an example, in single family homes, they do special assessments when there would be potentially a storm or whatever. But when it comes to condos, there's a condo association fee, and that's where they're seeing it, especially because the insurance and the regulation. Those are the two big reasons why we're seeing significant fees or significant increases in owning a condo. So one of the big differences when you own a condo is that the insurance is paid for, the homeowner's insurance is paid for by the association. And when you buy your insurance there, you're pretty much just buying the insurance for within your four walls. It's very different from buying single family homes. The people who follow this channel know we mainly do single family homes. We have told our clients for years you can buy a condo, but recognize the risk. Our clients have benefited from the fact through our advice that there's a significant risk when it comes to owning a condo, and you could be okay. There are at least two that we've covered in past videos that I think are still really good choices or people who want to buy condos. That's where I would look, and there's a reason for it, and we'll explain a little bit more about those later in this video. Homeowners insurance is a problem because there's been so much fraud when it comes to claims. Families would put claims in for roofs that they didn't necessarily need. The local government here in Florida has done a lot of good work in the last few years to try and combat this. But like anything else, when things are broken for so long, it takes a long time to fix. So one of the reasons why the towers down in Champlain collapsed were because they were neglected. So one of the new regulations now is that they are increasing the inspection period, the period in between where they're inspecting. Lots of time, these even though there was always regulation involved, I feel like they were sort of lenient in terms of the government, in terms of looking at these things. Maybe I'm wrong. I am not a lawyer, but I will say this, is that all of a sudden now they're very strict when it comes to inspection, and there's lots of new regulation when it comes to condos in this regard. So I'm going to say there's so much information here. It's really hard to unpack it all in a short video. But anyway, if you really want to know more about this, you need to reach out to us because you're not going to learn everything in this video. I'm going to touch on some really important points that you should know and consider if you're considering buying a condo. But they have in 2022, there was a significant condo regulatory act, the Condo Act of 2022 in Florida here. And they put some significant changes when it comes to inspections. It also comes to the reserves. So the way a condo or even an HOA work is that they collect fees every month, and it goes towards the general operating account of the to run that entity, whether it's a condo or a homeowners association. Most prudent and financially disciplined associations will, in fact, will charge money from the residents in order to account for reserves, because things do come up. Even in single family homes, we get storms and stuff, and you don't want to hit it with special assessment. So what they do is they put aside money for reserves. What they found when it came to the voting on whether they should add to your association fee to fund these reserves, most of these condo associations, the residents voted no, or their board voted no, which is one of the big problems today because of this new Condo Act regulation of 2022 I mentioned. You no longer are allowed to vote no. You are required as an association, as a condo association, to fund and start charging and accumulating these reserves for reasons such as inspections, insurance, and all that's going on today. Don't know if you guys know about how these associations work, but they have meetings every so often. Like my association here, my HOA, Homeowners Association, we have meetings every couple months, and they can be really heated. There was one down in Miami that was particularly heated, that made some news a while back. But the truth is, they all have some sort of degree of aggressiveness. If the board's not doing right, and if you're getting hit with a huge assessment, or your HOA fees or your condo association fees go up 200%, you can expect there to be that not to be a, let's call it a tame meeting. Mandarin Lakes in Miami is the association I was talking about. Now, most of the association fees, now you're only going to see on TV the bad and not necessarily going to show you the good. Most associations are handled well, but there are some things. There always will be risks with condos. When you are buying a condo, and you need to know this if you're looking at homes and buying in Florida, that's what we do. We help people relocate to this area, and we guide them on things they should know. And this is one point. If you're buying a condo, you are going to be asking that condo for its reserves. If you're getting a loan, which most people do, have a mortgage, they will require the lender will require that they take a look at the budget for that condo association, and rightly so. There are some condos when I help people who are considering condos. There are some condos that will require you to buy the condo with 100% cash, and the reason is they're probably not funding their reserves as well as they should. So when there's a significant expenditure, there's only a couple ways to pay for it: either raising your association fees by a lot, or special assessment, which I've seen some special assessments in recent years here in Florida, that these homeowners are getting assessments of upwards of like $20,000. That is one of the risks when it comes to owning a condo. And one of the other things I touched on it before, is the insurance aspect of it. Because of the fraud and the all kinds of nonsense going on with the insurance agency, a lot of insurance carriers have left the state. When you're buying a new construction home, it's not, especially single family. Reach out to our team. That's our primary business. We help a lot of people do that. So there's significant benefits when you do that, when it comes to buying that kind of home, as opposed to buying on the other end of the spectrum, an older condo. But when it comes down to the condos versus new construction homes, single family homes, there's a huge difference. We have seen insurance rates on some of these, lots of even homeowners associations, especially if they get sued for certain things, go up over 100%. So that's something that the local government here in Florida is currently tackling and getting a little bit, in my opinion, it's just my opinion, making some progress on. But it just, like I said, it takes a while. But when you're a condo association, when you're a resident of a condo association, you are obligated to buy to put money towards their insurance. You do not have that when it comes to single family homes. So again, reach out to our team. I can explain that. But one of the reasons why we're seeing significant increases is insurance is required when you're buying a condo. And if you get a big increase, like let's say 100% increase on your insurance, they're going to pass it along to you, the owner of that condo. Again, I mentioned all this in that video. Don't buy Palm Beach condos, but it's just that the thing is, I was trying to tell people what to expect, but people don't really always pay attention to things until they actually see it in numbers when they get their bill, and that's one of the reasons why we're seeing such attention to this here today. So the other thing that is also very important, they've made regulations on inspections, how often, and there's a rule from a 3-story and above. There's every condo is a little bit different, but suffice it to say, with the new laws, condos are now being inspected more often. There was like a 30-year law that they need to be certified in 30 years, and then every 10 years thereafter. So all those laws are still they're although they've passed much legislation in this regard, I will tell you, you can expect more as years to come. So that's one of the other reasons why I think there's significant risk still when it comes to buying a condo today. I had mentioned where condos are now required to have these reserved. They call it the structural integrity reserve study that they did. So that was one of the things that they did to make sure that we get more inspections of these condos. A lot of them went from 30 to 25, and they will even tighten this up quite a bit. So if you're in a older condo, especially, there's significant risk. I mentioned before, there's a couple of condos that we've covered in the past. So I have a couple of condos. Like I said, we help people relocate to other places from here in Florida. I have a couple of condos where I feel like the risk is significantly less. The association fees are always going to be a little bit higher because you do have that insurance component on. Reach out to our team. I'm not going to name the two communities I'm referring to, but there's at least two communities that if you're looking at condos that these I feel would be ones I would consider. But if you're looking at an older condo, again, that's something that you need to look at the reserves, look at the inspection period, how often they will be inspected, how often will it be recertified? Because the last thing you want to do is to buy into a condo that sounds good, the money sounds good, and then you get hit with a huge assessment, find out that's not recertified, and all these regulations the associations pay to prove that the building is certified. So that's something you need to know and consider if you're buying a condo here in South Florida. So if you're thinking about moving to Florida, and it's not just condos, it's new homes versus old homes as well. So some of the guidance that we've been giving clients in the last few years is because of this homeowners association situation, and again, we do mainly single family homes today. A lot of probably over 90%. There's a big difference between new and old. You will literally. I told you about carriers moving out. If you're buying a brand new construction, you will have access to lots of different carriers because there are lots of carriers that will, in fact, insure a home if it's brand new. If it's an older condo, if it's an older home, and I say older, I mean like 2005 even, your insurance rate can be 3 times now, or about that. That's my estimate. There have been Florida homes, mind you, are the strongest built homes literally in the country. They're built with concrete block and all that, but there's always a threat of hurricanes. And these are some of the things that the insurance companies are taking into consideration when they're looking to assess you on your premium on your homeowner's insurance. One of the insurers we have down here is called State-Owned Citizens. If you have a home, a single family home worth over more than $750,000, Citizens, you won't qualify for Citizens. So all these rules apply not just to condos, they apply to single family homes. It is a complicated subject. We'd love to help you because after all, we'd love to help people move to this beautiful place we call sunny South Florida. Know your risk, paradise here in Florida.